Welcome to our practice today. What I've prepared for today's practice is basically basics. I've chosen 2 blocks, but only for the start of the class, if at all, and the standard blanket for a bit of comfort, perhaps around knees or for the head. I'd love to start lying down today, so if you can make your way down onto the mat. The theme of today's practice will be to focus and to connect with our physical bodies, or the first sheath or kosha layer of our being, that is Anna Maya Kosha, so the physical body, and in relation to that, all that we put on it and in it. So I am using my 2 blocks to start with. I'm also using the blanket as a cushion for the head. And as mentioned before, the blocks are entirely optional. As you might begin to lie down with your knees bent, the feet gently on the ground. And perhaps as you land here, the hands resting upon your abdomen. And starting to feel a gentle rise and fall of the belly. The first connection to the physical body, but already tapping that little bit deeper as it's connected with the press or the pranic body. Once you notice that subtle movement, you might choose to open your knees out to each side and join the soles of the feet together. You could just simply rest like that, or you could choose to place blocks underneath the knees for a bit more support. We'll stay in that position for a few minutes, perhaps, so it might be worth finding the most comfortable version for yourself. However high or low your blocks might like to be if you're using them, however far away or close by your feet are in relation to the buttocks. So finding that position for yourself. Aligning the body in Supta Baddha Konasana or your reclined bound angle pose. To enhance the understanding or the sensations that we might be exploring in the physical sense, you could use a mudra, and on each hand, as the palms might look upwards now, joining your thumb with the ring finger, just the tips of these 2 fingers on each hand touching. As the fingers might be touching now, bring your attention to the fingers. The little loop you've created with your hands. Perhaps you even notice the energy flow. Perhaps you also feel how your fingers are connected to your hands. The hands to the arms, then to the shoulders, and with that, the rest of your physical body as you placed it there onto the mat and onto your support. Perhaps begin to notice now how your breath is still flowing, and where you might sense the breath is moving the physical body, as that might have shifted ever so slightly. As we begin to change our focus and draw it towards the physical, There's a chance that with that help of focus and mudra or hand gesture to even reduce the stress. And perhaps even instill a sense of security. You might choose to deepen your breath, but let it flow to where it wants to flow to, where it wants to move the most, rather than controlling the direction of your breath. And either staying focused with the movement that is created in the physical body by breathing, or choosing to stay with the sensations of the body as a whole. Allowing 2 more breaths. Before you let go of the deeper breathing, the mudra in your hands, and guiding your knees back up, perhaps removing your blocks. Your arms might still be slightly open to the sides, and you could begin to lightly roll the head and the knees, just very gently to start with, side to side. You might choose to increase the range of movement, still staying present with how this feels in your body. Then rolling onto one of your sides. You might use your lower arm as a cushion underneath the head. And if it is possible, extending your legs out long. The upper hand might be a support, resting in front. Or if you dare, resting your arm over the top side of the body, coming into a side-lying Buddha. And perhaps deliberately keeping your legs long and extended, working with the subtlety of finding balance as you lie on your side. You might notice that the body is helping by creating some inner tension. You could then choose to reach your arms up over the head and take an even deeper breath to draw your extended arms and legs behind you, perhaps squeezing the buttocks, bringing your hips forward, creating kind of a half moon shape. Take a few breaths. Then take a deep, big in-breath. And on the out breath, flop down onto your back like jelly on a plate. Let it wobble. Releasing your arms back along the sides of the body, perhaps adjusting your position on the mat. Before rolling over onto your other side. The same here, your lower arm might come underneath the head for support. The upper hand might be resting in front of you. And you might choose to extend your legs fully. If this feels right, place the upper arm along the upper side of the body and hold here, fully extended and aware of all the engagement that your body requires to hold you in that position. You might then take a deep breath and stretch both arms up over the head. And even bring the extended arms and legs behind you lightly and squeeze the buttocks so the hips are moving forward, returning to the half moon shape. And perhaps a few breaths here into that extension of the front of your body. Taking an inhale, and on the exhale, flopping again onto your back, let it jiggle and wobble. Releasing arms back along the sides of the body, bending both knees, and perhaps recentering yourself onto the mat. The arms now along the sides of the body, your feet at a comfortable hip distance down onto the floor. And as you breathe in, tilt the pelvis. As you breathe out, press the back all the way down into the mat. Breathe in and tilt the pelvis so the lower back arches again away from the floor. And as you breathe out, tilt the pelvis the other way and press the spine back down into the ground, feeling that deeper connection. One more, let's breathe in to arch away from the floor. And on the out breath, grounding the whole spine and pressing it down into the mat. Release that again as you inhale, find your neutral spinal position. On your next in-breath, tilt as well, but start to lift your hips a little bit upwards. And on the out breath, rolling them gently back down onto the mat. We'll repeat that as you breathe in, tilt the pelvis and start to lift. And on the out breath, slightly rolling back down. Once more, tilting and lifting while you breathe in. But then see if you can relax the buttocks muscles. Leave the hips lightly lifted off the ground if possible. And start to sway the pelvis a bit from side to side. Using the strength in your legs. The pelvis floating, and see how much it is possible for you to relax the buttocks muscles or glutes. While you might feel a stronger connection through the arms, shoulders, shoulder blades, and perhaps the feet. Then let the pelvis swing towards the center. So keep it lightly lifted and start to gently bounce it down against the floor. Find a gentle rhythm, not hard, just very soft, a little pounding down into the mat. A way to release the fascia in the lower back area. You might notice now after a few of these bounces how the leg muscles are engaging in this activity. And then let the activity go, hold the shape, but let go of any tension that you might experience in the body. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and an exhalation from the mouth. You might on your next inhale tilt the pelvis once more and perhaps lift the hips up as high as feels good for you. Pause here. Ground through the arms, the palms of your hands. The tailbone might draw up towards the backs of the knees. And your focus might now be the front of the body, that we are expanding. Next, slow out, but try and touch down a vertebra at a time as you return the back onto the mat. You might choose to open the arms again, turning the palms back upwards. And repeat a subtle swaying of head and knees from side to side. You could even choose to move the head in the same way as the knees or opposite. And you might again increase the range of movement. Eventually choosing to roll over to one of your sides and helping yourself to come up to sit. We will change our position entirely to our fours or kneeling. And I will use a slightly open blanket to cushion the knees. This is again optional. Some of you might like to cushion their wrists or step up onto fists. If not, perhaps spreading your fingers out wide and you're grounding through the tops of the feet. Using Hasta Bandha, if your fingers are wide, so lean forward to the bases of the fingers, get a grip in with the pads of the fingers. Feel how that engagement into the hands might lift you out of the shoulder blades. The neck here is long. Taking a deep breath in. And on the exhale, it might come from the mouth, start to round into the cat. For the inhale, choose between a neutral spine and a back bend, lifting tail and gaze. And on the exhale again, round. So inhale, neutral or back bending. And exhaling to round the spine. Now keep that movement flowing for a few more rounds. Vidalasana, the cat and cow. On your next exhale, round the spine again and hold it. You might now choose to tuck your toes under. Extend your arms a bit further forward and reach your tailbone up and back, finding the shape of a puppy pose. So the engagement here is similar to a down dog, finding length from the tailbone to the fingers. On the next inhale, slide hands back in, return to all fours. I will change my angle, but you can stay just as you are. Lifting your right leg as you take a breath in. And bringing knee and nose together as you breathe out. We'll repeat that a couple of times. So finding length as you inhale and curling under on the exhale. Breathing in and out. As you lengthen the leg again, take another breath in. And as you exhale, circle the leg out towards the side, placing the foot down roughly at the height of the knee on the floor. Walking your hands across towards the leg, perhaps turning the toes in the direction. Maybe hands are on either side of the leg. The back leg could slightly adjust. Starting to flex or float through the right foot. Find length in your spine as you breathe in. And then surrender towards the leg, breathing out. You might stay here, or you might lightly wave length to your spine on each in-breath and floating back down towards the leg on the out-breath. So the choice here is to hold or to work with gentle spinal waves as you breathe. Stay with that for a few more breaths. Next out breath, hold and pause. Then start to ground the right foot back towards the mat. Perhaps the toes can turn forward now, and the other foot realigns behind you. You might place the right hand with the palm looking up gently against the right leg. And perhaps take a deep breath to start to rise and extend the left arm towards the ceiling. Perhaps so does your gaze. On the out breath now, a side bend towards Parikasana, gate pose. The top shoulder here might be back, but you could choose where to look. Looking down towards the leg, looking up towards the arm, or keeping your gaze quite neutral. Perhaps there's a reach to the upper hands, fingertips. Or maybe the soft touch is noticeable with the back of your hand against the right leg. Can you feel the sole of the right foot grounding gently? Perhaps awareness travels to the extended side of the body. Another breath in. As you breathe out, bend slightly through your extended leg. Roll your arm forward. Start to place the hands back down and circling your leg behind to bring the knee back down to the mat. You might require some gentle adjustments here in your all-four stance. Perhaps a little reminder about your hand lock, placing weight forward into the bases, pads of the fingers. With the next in-breath, raising your left leg up. On the out breath, draw knee and nose together. And we'll repeat a couple more times, breathing in for length and out to curl. In to lengthen and out to round. And as you lengthen again, your breath in comes. And you might circle the leg out towards the side. Perhaps it's possible to land the foot roughly at the height of the knee on the floor. Then starting to walk the hands towards the extended leg. You might raise the foot up, perhaps hands go either side. Blocks might be useful here too. Back foot could swing a little bit out behind you for more comfort. And you might choose to flex or floin the foot. Then a breath in to lengthen the spine. And on the out breath, surrendering down towards this length. Same as on the other side, you can choose to just breathe or create spinal waves as you breathe in and lower into the stretch when breathing out. Notice what movement is more suitable, the steadiness or the movement itself. Then a breath in as you bend the knee, land the sole of the foot, starting perhaps to turn the toes forward, the other foot back behind, and you might rest the back of your left hand against the leg. As you breathe in, perhaps reaching your right arm up, maybe even extending your gaze there. And on the out breath, leaning into the side bend. Top shoulder back. The arm is extended, palm of the hand looking down. And choosing deliberately your gazing point. Perhaps the awareness in the extended side of the body. Perhaps down to the sole of the foot against the floor. the movement of each breath within the body. Breath in, and very slowly rolling your arm and shoulder down, returning again onto all fours, and maybe sliding the leg behind to bring the knee back down to the mat, and a big out breath for last cat position. Let's keep the roundedness and start to reach your buttocks down towards the heel. You might choose to stay in an extended child's pose or soften your arms to the floor. Perhaps there's a little sway coming, a wiggle through the back of the body. You might then come to a rest. Breathe in slowly through the nose and the soft sigh from the mouth. Bringing your hands back so they're meeting the knees. Tucking the toes under if this is for you. There's many ways to come off the floor, so if this one is not yours, choose the way that is right for you. If possible, raise the knees off the ground. Hands come a bit closer yet again, before grounding through the feet, lifting the hips up for a forward fold. And then a long, slow out breath to uncurl the spine, coming towards standing. Perhaps there's a shoulder shrug here as you come up into your standing posture. You might like to turn towards the long side edge of the mat to start with. Placing perhaps the feet a little bit further out and even opening the toes. You might choose to place your hands upon your hips. Soften the knees. And start some circling around the pelvis. We've already prepared a bit of looseness here in the variation of the bridge when we're lying on our backs. Perhaps starting to bring your upper body into the mix. Then spiraling everything back inwards. Finishing with a tiny little circle, coming to stand. Deep breath in through the nose, perhaps that breath from the mouth to soften and relax. And then we circle again, but we go the other way around. Start with softness in your knees, then begin to circle from the hips. Your hands are there to keep you reminded. The area of the body. And after a few rounds of hip circles, you might bring in your upper body. And the same here, we're starting to bring the circles back in, making them smaller. And a tiny little hip circle to complete, as you might relax your arms down and pause for a moment just to stand. You could choose to lower the gaze or close the eyes. Take a note of your physical body, sensations that have come or gone, sensations that are here right now. Perhaps in your hands and fingers, in your feet. And as you open the eyes again, you might widen your stance a little bit more, keeping the toes kind of looking a bit outwards. If you need to modify like myself, you could leave your arms a bit lower. If it's available, raising the arms out to shoulder height as you breathe in. Bending your left knee, touching towards it with the opposite arm, opening the other. A breath in to come back, arms wide, legs long, and changing sides as you breathe out. Let's keep that flowing, breathing in to stand tall and reach. Exhale, bend the knee and twist. Inhale, come tall. Exhale, twist. Keep that flowing for a little bit in your own pace, rather than my pace of talking, your pace of breathing. Perhaps not only noticing the movement itself, but the touch of the hand towards the knee. If this becomes very comfortable for you, you could leave your legs extended, but still continue the movement. Your hand might sit a little bit higher, perhaps against the thigh somewhere. Remember, these are only choices, yours to play with. And when you're next in balance, reach your arms out, standing tall, you inhale. Relaxing the arms down on the out breath. You might swivel your right toes to look to the short side edge of the mat, the left heel a bit to the other. Taking a breath in to reach your arms back out. Turn the palms to look forward and perhaps tilting towards a triangular shape. You could keep it within the range of movement, perhaps resting against the inner thigh. You could go a bit deeper if you choose. Upper arm might be extended or could rest into the side of the waist. Notice if the arm is an extension of your shape physically or a burden, and then make a choice. Keeping your top shoulder back, and perhaps there's an engagement of hand against the thigh. Same as in the previous triangle variations, choosing your gazing point. Notice if this shape is fully supported, if there's engagement around the front knee. If you feel it's rather locked, press more into the ball of the front foot. And those of you breathing very smoothly might even extend your upper arm over the head. Please check in with yourself if that is appropriate. Then soften both of your knees, release the arms, rise to stand, turn to stand, and again soften the arms, the shoulders. Deep breath in through the nose, perhaps an exhale from the mouth. Then swiveling the feet in the other direction, left toes looking to the short edge, right heel to the other. A breath in, perhaps the arms come out, shoulder height, palms looking forward. And as you exhale, leaning towards the left leg. The hand again could rest to the inside of the leg wherever is comfortable. The upper arm might be extended to the ceiling, but also can rest in the side of the waist. Notice the quality of your experience, not only in your breath, but also in your shoulder. And engaging back into the resistance between the lower hand and the leg. Your gazing point, important. Where is it? On this side, upwards, forward, down. Are you supported where you're sitting in the front foot? Can you use the ball of the front foot? How does that shift the experience in that leg? Upper arm, if it is for you, you might extend it over the head. Palm of the hand would here be facing downwards, ideally. Shoulder remains in position. Notice if that choice is for you. There's always other choices. Softening both knees as you roll it in, returning back to the stance and heeling and toeing your feet back to a comfortable hip distance. You might also face back to the short edge of the mat. Turn the hands forward. Engage your inner heels for a mountain pose toward each other. And the crown of the head to the ceiling, lowering the gaze or closing the eyes. Can you feel the stance? That engagement gently into the feet. How that ripples up into engagement in your legs. And how your breath might be ever so gently flowing, softly moving within the abdomen, the ribs. As you might slide your hands again onto the hips. Taking a step back with the right foot, landing at hip distance apart, and a bend into the front knee. The activation of the feet in toward each other to firm up the stance, and the choice to release the hands to the heart space in Anjali Mudra, or lift them up, Warrior One. If you choose to lift the hands, they might be facing in their palms. The legs unchanged, that subtle activation, then moving toward each other for better support. Your gazing point forward or upwards, perhaps. Be present with your choices in the physical body. As you inhale, as you exhale, could you open your arms out to the sides? You might start to raise the back foot off the floor or the heel to start with. Maybe leaning forward and then perhaps lifting the whole foot for Warrior Three. So I'd ask you, if you do raise the foot, to flex, to point the toes towards the ground so the pelvis is looking down. Your gaze might be looking down too, to elongate through the neck. The arms might stay out wide if that feels supported, as if you are flying. Or you might choose to join the hands back together at the heart. Then there might be a gentle pressure between the hands to broaden into the upper back. Warrior Three. Let us all bring the hands to join again and land the foot back into the same position. Hip distance, a little bit away. And then I bend into the front knee. So we're back in our Warrior One stance. But as you breathe in now, straighten the front leg. And as you're exhaling, leaning about halfway forward. Lowering the gaze again. You might now join the left hand into the side of the waist and bring the right hand to the outside of the front leg. If you can maintain a strong stance in both of your feet. An option here to take an inhale and roll the left shoulder back. You might stay here or even extend your left arm towards the ceiling for a revolved triangle pose. Same here, everything you change, feel it in the body. If it is contributing to your overall posture, keep it this way. If not, bring it back and enjoy what there is available for now. One more breath. Then bring a bend into the front knee. Release your hands down and slowly start to slide the back foot in. You might open it out for a tree and leave the big toe on the floor. Or you could lift the foot up to the lower leg or help it to your upper inner thigh. Again, maybe these are choices that you make. We'll start with a deep grounding through the standing leg and helping us to grow out of that side of the hip and towards the ceiling in the crown of the head. Option to join the hands again at the heart space and either maintaining them here or bringing them back into the mudra by touching the thumbs to the ring fingers and opening the arms up into branches. The mudra that helps us connect to this physical body. You might maintain arms in mudra, but land your foot down. Then soften the hands and the arms by the sides. Let's take again a deep breath in through the nose and out of the mouth. Before sliding the hands back upon the hips. Taking a step back now with the left foot. Then here, have a hip distance stance, the foot in a distance backwards. And a light bend into the front knees and knee aligns over ankle joint. Your hips are easily looking forward here, and you might now draw the feet a little bit inwards so they engage on the mat. Building again that beautiful tension, not only in your feet, but in your legs. And you might choose to bring the hands to the heart. There's the option of maintaining them here or extending the arms up towards the ceiling. If that is your choice, let the palms face each other or touch. Notice the sensations not only of raising the arms, but the engagement that is still within the legs, so the whole body feels connected, supported, and you present within this body. Steady gaze or drishti. As you breathe in, you might open your arms out wide. Perhaps starting to raise the back heel, maybe beginning to lean forward. This is right. Raise the back foot off the floor, and if you do, please flex the foot. Turn the toes down towards the ground, so the pelvis is balanced. You're leaning forward here for warrior 3. The neck is long. You might keep your arms open or touching in front of your chest. And if they are coming to touch, you might press them a little bit together again to broaden through the upper back area. And then let's land the back foot back to where it was. So the hip distance slightly back, front knee is in a bend, your warrior 1 stance. Then a breath in to lengthen the front leg. And an out breath to lean about halfway forward. You might begin here with the right hand in the side of the waist and the left hand against the outside of that front leg. Please pay attention to the stance that you have, both feet grounded, spine long, and then perhaps an out breath to roll the right shoulder back. Any of you feel like extending this right arm? You might. Then here, be present. What does that extension do for you? Or where does it reduce your shape? Making the choice to remain with the extension or coming back to the hand in your side. Parivrtta Trikonasana, the revolved triangular shape. A breath in to bend into the front knee. Release the arms lightly and draw the back foot up. You might choose to keep it simple, the heel against the leg, the knee opening up, or you might choose to bring the foot higher against lower or upper leg. Let's start with grounding actively through the foot, rising from the hip to the crown of the head. An option, if you found your stance, to join the hands. Either keeping them there or touching thumbs to ring fingers, opening back out into branches. Perhaps landing the foot, then releasing hands and arms. Join in for a last mountain pose, the hands forward, inner heels toward each other, eyes gaze might lower, close the eyes. The strength and stability of the mountain. An inhale to lift the arms, the gaze. Join the palms and soften the knees, and an out breath to slowly fold forward and down, releasing the knees to the floor and even coming to sit. Now I'd love for you to have one block by your side. Perhaps also preparing yourself for Shavasana if you need any jumpers, socks, bolsters, bringing them close by. And then descending onto the mat. Placing both feet back down onto the floor. Then bringing the right knee to the chest for a hug. And perhaps extending the right leg to the ceiling and taking a hold behind the back of your thigh. You might now push the sole of the foot to the ceiling as you breathe out, strong flexion of the foot, and inhale to point the toes up. Exhaling to flex, inhaling to point. You might repeat that movement in your own pace. When you're next flexing, hold the flexion and draw the leg a bit closer towards you on the following out breath. Maybe even reaching a bit higher up. Perhaps you maintain the flexion. Perhaps you start to float the foot, pushing the ball of the foot upwards as you still draw in with the leg towards you. Then let's bend the knee and land the ankle to the left thigh. You might push the knee out a bit to open. Or bring the hand through between the legs, holding onto the left leg as you raise the foot off the floor. Your elbow might guide the knee a bit outwards. The reclined figure 4, a variation of the half pigeon. And you might choose in a very slow and small movement to sway a bit from side to side, engaging your mind with the physical sensations. Perhaps those around to the right hip and glute. After a little while of movement, you might choose to hold at a tighter spot and maybe hug in a little bit more deeply. Releasing your left foot and your arms back down to the floor. It is simply a choice to leave your ankle up here or place the right foot to the ground. As you breathe in, tilt the pelvis and then start to lift your hips up for a bridge or three-legged version of it. Releasing the back to the ground, and if your foot is still up, placing the right foot back down onto the floor. Hugging your left knee in towards the chest. Extending the leg to the ceiling and a hold behind the back of your thigh. As you brace out now, push the sole of the foot to the ceiling. On the in-breath, point the toes. Out-breath to flex. Inhale to point. Repeat for a few breaths in your pace. Next exhalation, hold the flexion and perhaps draw the leg in closer. Maintaining ease in the shoulders. Perhaps reaching a little bit higher. An option to hold the flexion of the foot or change it to a floint so the ball is pushing upward. Still hugging the leg in towards you. As you bend the knee, the ankle might land upon the thigh. You might use your hand to guide the knee away from you. Or you might choose to reach the arm through between the legs and take a hold of the right leg instead. Elbow might be used to guide the knee open, coming back to the reclined figure 4 or half pigeon variation. An option for that subtle and slow rocking from side to side. More of an exploration than the movement itself that might be coming to your awareness. So the sensations that change as we move slightly from side to side in the hip on the left side of the buttocks. And perhaps coming to a hold in one of the tighter spots. You might now let go and place the right foot down onto the mat. Also releasing your arms along the sides of the body, palms touching down. Same option here. You may leave your left ankle up onto the thigh, or you might place the foot down onto the ground. For the inhale, tilt your pelvis and lift the hips lightly up or fully. Holding in a bridge or three-legged version. And an out breath to land the spine back down. And if the foot is still up, the foot towards the floor. You might shuffle your arms underneath the body, palms here can face up or down. You might extend your legs out. If you do, please bring them together, point your toes. From where you might rise up onto your forearms and take a look at your toes. Well, you might puff up your chest towards the ceiling or bring your chin forward and even guide the head backwards. It is more so about a lift here of the chest, fish pose, Matsyasana. Release, bring the back of the head back down. Shuffle from side to side to remove your arms. And then see what is possible for you. Perhaps you would like to rest in a Shavasana, legs rolling apart. Maybe you like a bolster underneath. Perhaps your lower back is a bit challenged and you'd like to bend the knees, place feet wide and let the knees fall inwards. My suggestion for the arms is to open them out, palms looking up, and perhaps wiggling your shoulders into position. For our resting pose today, there's always the option of keeping it just as it is, very much perfect in its nature, or to choose to bring the hands back into our mudra by touching your thumb and ring fingertips together. If you choose the mudra, keep it light. If it drifts apart, it's perfectly fine. Reconnecting to this physical body. Feeling the natural flow of the breath. The sensation of the mudra or gesture. Perhaps an awareness that this breath is flowing towards the pelvic floor, the pelvis itself, to your base. Where you might find a sense of stability, sense of grounding. A sense of grounding might expand into a sense of calm, even tranquility, comfort in the physical body. Exploring the body as you might in your mind trace the contours of the body, the shape. You might then bring the awareness to the feet, toes, ankles, the lower legs, the knees, the thighs, the pelvis, and the buttocks. Extending awareness to the lower part of the back and traveling slowly up the back all the way towards the shoulders. And letting your attention travel down the upper arms to elbows, forearms, hands and fingers. Before resting the awareness upon the abdomen, the waist, the chest and the rib cage, towards the throat and the back of the neck, and then the head itself, the face, the crown of the head. Fully aware of this body, from the crown all the way down to the toes of your feet. Deliberately inhabiting all areas of your physical being, embracing them all simultaneously, and maybe sensing yourself completely at home within your physical body. You might now choose to repeat after me. Fully present in my physical being, I experience complete ease and harmony. Fully present in my physical being, I experience complete ease and harmony. Fully present in my physical being, I experience complete ease and harmony. When you feel ready, you might release the mudra if it is still in your hands. Before beginning to wiggle the fingers, maybe the toes too. Engaging back into the physical body. You might even increase the movement, or matching the theme of this awareness, have a full body stretch. Reach your arms up, take that deep breath and lengthen. And slowly choosing to bend the knees. Maybe for a moment, roll onto your side. If you feel like sitting up differently, that's also an option. And let's finish with a physical touch. As you might place your left hand around the navel or slightly above, and the right hand towards the middle of your chest or heart center. You might lower your gaze or close the eyes. The connection between your power center and heart center. Embracing yourself as this whole being, connected to the physical, but aware that you are so much more. And from that place, you might choose to bow and extend toward each other. Namaste.